Interesting news from the enemy. A voice message from the suspended commander of the 58th Army, Major General Popov, with the speaking call sign Spartak, has appeared online. Popov said that he was suspended because of the harsh criticism of his superiors, in which he spoke about the lack of counter-battery fighting in the Russian armed forces, the lack of artillery reconnaissance stations, as well as about the huge number of deaths and injuries among soldiers from the Ukrainian artillery. It is the positions of the 58th Army that had been stormed by the Ukrainian defense forces in the Zaporizhia direction for more than a month. It was previously considered the most experienced among Russia's armies. Good night, my favorite gladiators. I had to gather my thoughts. A lot has happened in the last 2 days. I can now say that with certainty. I have been dismissed from my post. Lieutenant General Liamin has arrived and has taken command of the army. I am waiting for my further military destiny, for its change, for some proposal for further service. I have been honest with you from the very beginning. I have been frank with you. I shortened all distances with all gladiators of the army, from a soldier to a marshal, in our case to the chief of staff of the army. Because we all die the same way, we fight the same way, we all suffer the same horror, we all suffer the same pain and hardship. I made absolutely no distinction between you. And I was always honest from the first day of my arrival in our army. That's why I honestly tell you that there was a difficult situation with the senior commanders, when it was necessary either to keep silent and say what they wanted to hear, or to call things by their names. I had no right to lie, in the name of you, in the name of all our friends who died in combat, so I outlined all the problematic issues that exist today in the army, in terms of combat work and support. He called all things by their proper names and focused attention on the most important tragedy of modern warfare. This is the lack of counter-battery warfare, the lack of artillery reconnaissance station, and mass death and injury of our brothers from enemy artillery. I also raised a number of other problems, expressed it at the highest level, frankly, extremely tough. In this regard, apparently, the senior chiefs felt some danger in me and promptly, in one daylight, concocted the order of the Minister of Defense, took me out of the location and got rid of me. As many commanders of regiments, divisions said today, Ukrainians could not break through our army from the front. But we were hit from the rear by our senior chief, treacherously and meanly, decapitating the army at the most difficult and tense moment. It's an honor to stand in the same line with you. We continue to fulfill the combat mission. The main thing is in the name of those who will never return from the battlefields. In the name of their memory, in the name of spilled blood of soldiers and officers on Zaporizhia, we are obliged with you to defeat the enemy, to repel his offensive, to create conditions for subsequent actions, and thus to honor the memory of our fallen comrades. This cry of the commander's soul caused a stormy shitstorm in the media field of Russia. How is it that after a year and a half of war it turned out that they were bad with supply and counter-battery warfare? That's a good sign for Ukraine. It turned out that the story with Wagner is only the beginning. In the enemy army everything is even worse, and I have been talking about it for a long time. The enemy army is slowly decaying, and the question of when something like the Prigozhin mutiny will happen there is only a matter of time, but that is another story.